Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into why countries around the world use the US dollar for trade. We'll explore the benefits and drawbacks of its practice and unravel the intriguing and slightly suspicious relationship between the US and Saudi Arabia, including the fascinating and potentially nefarious petrodollar system. Imagine this: everyone is at a global party and the DJ is Uncle Sam, who just so happens to control the playlist. When the DJ decides to play a slow, sad song, i.e. interest rate hike, everyone has to slow dance, whether they like it or not, because it costs more to borrow money. And just when you're getting into the groove, the DJ might drop the bass, sending everyone into a panic frenzy, i.e. collapsing economies. Using the dollar is like having that one reliable friend who always picks you up when your car breaks down. Sure, they'll drive you where you need to go, but don't forget, you owe them big time. Using the dollar reduces exchange rate risks, lowering the uncertainty in international trade. Since prices are set in dollars, businesses and governments can plan without worrying about fluctuating exchange rates. Transaction costs are also lower since the dollar is widely accepted. Countries benefit from easier access to global financial markets, enhancing investment opportunities. For instance, emerging markets can borrow in dollars at lower interest rates compared to their local currencies. Fun fact, central banks around the world hold about 60% of their reserves in dollars, reinforcing this stability. But on the other side of that coin, you're signing a deal with the devil. You get what you want, but you're also handing over the keys to your economy and hoping Lucifer, aka the Fed, is in a good mood. Countries become dependent on the US Federal Reserve's monetary policies, wind up losing some control over their own monetary strategies. When the Fed hikes interest rates, countries with dollar-denominated debt face higher costs. They also become vulnerable to U.S. economic fluctuations and crises. The 2008 financial crisis, which started in the U.S., had a ripple effect on economies worldwide. And if the U.S. faces inflation, it can spread to countries using the dollar. For example, the inflationary policies of the 1970s caused global stagflation, hurting economies dependent on the dollar. Countries using the dollar essentially tie their economic fate to the whims of the U.S. policymakers. Which brings us to today, on the U.S.-Saudi Arabia deal. Imagine two old buddies with a handshake deal so strong that they don't need a contract. Because who needs legal documents when you've got a mutual interest and oil money? It's like the ultimate bromance, where one friend promises to bring snacks, oil, and the other brings the beer, dollars. Just don't ask too many questions or you might find yourself on the wrong end of an economic embargo. Historically, this partnership has been crucial, especially around the oil trade. The petrodollar system emerged in the 1970s, after the US struck a deal with Saudi Arabia to price its oil exclusively in US dollars. The practice creates a global demand for the dollar, benefiting the US economy. The petrodollar system ensures that countries buying oil need dollars, which they obtain by trading with the US or holding reserves. But here's an interesting fact. There was never a formal, signed contract between the two countries mandating the system. It's based on a series of agreements and mutual understandings. The U.S. provides military protection and support to Saudi Arabia, and in return, Saudi Arabia prices its oil in dollars and invests heavily in the U.S. securities. In summary, using the U.S. dollar for trade has its pros and cons. It offers stability and lower costs, but comes with dependence on U.S. economic policies. The relationship between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia highlights the strategic use of the dollar, even without a formal contract. So here we are in a world where countries dance to the tune of the U.S. dollar like it's the only jukebox in town. And remember, in a world of international finance, trust no one, not even your currency. And we also have to remember that countries worldwide still invest into the U.S. economy. They're buying land, they're buying businesses, they're buying securities. If you found this video insightful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the global economics and finance. Thank you for watching. And drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going. What do you think about the U.S. dollar dominance? Is it a necessary evil or